In the early years of the 20th century, marriage was a sacred promise, a union built on love and trust. But for one man, it became a weapon. His name was George Joseph Smith, and between 1912 and 1914, 3 young women died the same way, drowned in bathtubs behind locked doors. Police thought it was coincidence, until one detective noticed the pattern and uncovered one of Britain's most chilling cases of calculated murder. George Joseph Smith was born in 1872 in Bethnal Green, London. From a young age he was restless, drawn not to honest work but to opportunity and deceit. As a teenager he ran away from home, drifting through England as a petty thief and con man. By his 20s he had learned how to manipulate affection. He courted women for their savings, married them, and disappeared once their money ran out. He served short sentences for theft and fraud, but each time he was released, he reinvented himself, changing his name, his stories, and his victims. By 1910, Smith had developed a new pattern. He would legally marry women he barely knew, convince them to make him their sole heir, and then tragedy would strike. The first known victim was Bessie Munday, a gentlewoman from Dorset. She met Smith under the name Henry Williams and quickly fell for his charm. They married in 1910, and soon after, Smith persuaded her to draft a will naming him her beneficiary. In July 1912, Bessie was found dead in her bathtub in a boarding house. The death certificate read asphyxia from drowning, fainting while bathing. No foul play was suspected greater than Smith claimed the insurance, buried Bessie quietly, and vanished. 2 years later, history repeated itself. Under the alias Charles Williams, Smith married Alice Burnham in Liverpool. In December 1913, they lodged at a hotel in Blackpool. Only weeks after their wedding, Alice was found dead in the bath, naked, drowned, her head beneath the water. The inquest concluded accidental death. In January 1915, Smith tried again. This time he married Margaret Lofty in London under yet another false name. On December 18, 1914, the newlyweds took rooms in a boarding house in Highgate. The next morning, Margaret was discovered dead in the bathtub. Once more, Smith produced a marriage certificate, claimed his wife's possessions, and left town. But this time, he had been careless. Margaret's death notice was seen by a local registrar who recalled a strikingly similar case from Blackpool just months earlier. He wrote to the police, urging them to compare the details. Detective Inspector Arthur Neal of Scotland Yard began digging. He found 3 women, each recently married, each insured in favor of her husband, and each dead in a bathtub. Neal traced the aliases, the handwriting, the witnesses at the weddings, all led back to George Joseph Smith. The bodies of Bessie, Alice, and Margaret were exhumed. Pathologist Sir Bernard Spilsbury, already a rising forensic star, performed new examinations. He noticed telltale bruising inside the victims' mouths, consistent with being suddenly submerged and losing consciousness. To prove it, Spilsbury conducted controlled tests using volunteers in a tub of identical size. When the subject fainted, the head slipped under instantly, a method of murder almost impossible to detect. Greater than. Smith was arrested in February 1915 and charged with the murder of Bessie Munday. The prosecution, led by Archibald Bodkin, presented evidence of all 3 deaths to show a clear pattern, a rare move at the time. Spilsbury's calm scientific testimony captivated the jury. He demonstrated how Smith could have seized each bride by the ankles, forcing her head beneath the water in seconds, leaving almost no trace of struggle. Greater than. The defense claimed coincidence and fainting fits, but the jury saw through the lies. After a brief deliberation, they returned a verdict of guilty. On August 13, 1915, George Joseph Smith was executed by hanging at Maidstone Prison. He was 43 years old. The brides in the bath case changed criminal investigation forever. It introduced the concept of similar fact evidence, allowing multiple crimes with the same pattern to be shown together in court. It also cemented the role of forensic pathology, improving how a crime occurred when the body told no obvious story. Authors and filmmakers later drew inspiration from Smith's deception, including Agatha Christie's The Mysterious Affair at Styles. Yet beyond the legal legacy, the case remains a haunting reminder of trust betrayed. Greater than 3 women sought love, 1 man saw opportunity, and in the quiet of a rented bathroom, he turned devotion into the worst. Greater than this video is for educational and documentary purposes only. All information is derived from historical public records and reputable sources. May the victims, Bessie Monday, Alice Burnham, and Margaret Lofty, be remembered with respect.